Hey guys, welcome to this episode. Thank you for watching as always and your continued support. Today I'm going to be revealing my new project car, which is a two-seater convertible. It doesn't run. It has 202,000 miles on it. It's silver. So yeah, let's do it. It's a 1974 Mercedes-Benz 450 SL. Let's look at it. All right, here she is. So one reason I picked this guy up was how straight the body and interior were. Now the previous owner had pretty much let this sit in his driveway, and the lady he brought it from, she let it sit in her driveway forever. So the clear coat, base coat, not doing so great, as you can see. But there's no door dings, no deep scratches. It doesn't seem like it's ever been in an accident. Panel fitment is totally normal. Chrome is in really good shape. Interior, pretty much perfect. It's really rare to find one of these older Mercedes vehicles that don't have a cracked dashboard. You can see this one's almost pristine. A bit dusty, but moving on to the front, you can see what the paint used to look like. The front's pretty good. Sorry, my garage is really small. The bumpers also were pristine, no dents, deep scratches. It has the chrome bunt wheels, which I haven't seen before. I think they might be aftermarket, but they look pretty good on this car, I think. And then what I was really surprised by is how good this car looked underneath. I mean, it's amazing. There's no rust, anything under here. The previous owner did have the subframe repaired, which is good. That was an issue on these earlier model SLs. So the downside is the mechanics, and right now it currently does not run. The owner had let it sit for about 4 years before I bought it. And the engine bay looks really good. I checked the coolant. Coolant's nice and clear. Checked in the radiator. Nothing weird going on in there. No oil lease, so no head gasket issues. But what the real issue is this injector wiring. Now, so you might be able to see this injector is wired up with alligator clips. This one's been rewired. That side is pretty much good, but there's 3 or 4 injectors over on this side that completely need rewired. One thing I did notice, see if it's still there. Yeah, there were some rat poops in here, so looks like some rats got to some of the wiring. I think that's why some of this looks kind of chewed up. Temperature sensor completely unplugged. So yeah, that's kind of an enigma. I also noticed the original ECU, since this has one of the first electronic fuel injection systems in it, was completely unplugged. So that'll be a bit of an issue, but I don't know. Oh, another thing. I noticed there were compression numbers written on the head gasket, or the valve cover right here. And the lowest one I can find is this guy, 110. Everywhere else is 120 or 130, which isn't great, but I mean, it's a 200,000 plus mile motor, so. But anyway, so now that you've seen the problems, I'd like to go over kind of my path forward, I guess. So I bought this car for $1,500. And I have history in the past of buying cars, dumping a lot of money into them, and then just losing, like, you know, thousands of dollars when I sell them. So with this project, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to give myself a budget, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm not sure what I'll do. I think I might just part it out, make my money back that way. But anyway, so bought it for $1,500. I plan on spending $500 fixing it up. Step number one will be just checking the fuel system. So from what I've seen, the tank seems empty. I'll check that. But either way, I'd like to rig up some sort of catch can in the hood or in the engine bay where I just plug in the fuel supply line into it, put a fresh gallon of gas in there, and just run the fuel pump and see what comes out. And if the fuel looks okay, it's not too rusty or corroded or anything, then I will just hook it up, reconnect the injectors, and see if it starts. So, and then if it does, if it starts fine, then my next duties will be fixing the front seats, which are kind of dilapidated, and also fixing this soft top lid, which doesn't open right now. It opens on that side, but it doesn't unlatch on this side. So, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So, let's get started. So, now that I got the bulkhead off, you know, I've noticed something interesting. It looks like someone's worked on this before. It seems like it's been attached with zip ties, which look pretty recent. This also isn't bolted in at all. It's just kind of hanging out. There's no bolts in the mounts whatsoever. Another thing, it sounds like it's empty. I think it feels like it's completely empty. So if that's the case, I might just be able to run gas in it and see how that goes. I did put a dipstick in the filler tube, and I did find a little bit of rust, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to rewire it, put some new oil in it, and see what happens. You're going to need two things. You're going to need a 17mm socket and this big ol' H14 Allen head. I got that from a set on Amazon. It's an Nico set. I'll put the link in the description for you. But yeah, let's drain the oil. Always remember to loosen the filler cap. Kind of give you a good pressure. So I went to O'Reilly's, right? You know, get some oil, whatever. As you saw, it rained a lot. And so my driveway slopes down into my garage. And so when I opened my garage door, I unleashed the great flood into my garage. So that's my work area. Yeah, so neat. All right, so we're gonna work through the puddle. I don't care. I don't care about puddle. No way. We're just gonna work through it, you know. First step I'm gonna do is clean off this drain plug a little bit. Get rid of, I don't know what this is. If it's old oil or, I don't know, it almost looks like epoxy. Let me clear this out a little bit. I had a hell of a time getting this drain plug off. Honestly, I had to stand on it, like I was doing, or really push on it with my legs, like I was doing leg press to get this bitch off. So I'd prefer not to have to do that a second time. Okay, so now that that's done, let's do the oil filter, which is right up there, conveniently, with a socket. You really drain a lot of oil from this engine. The capacity, I've heard, is 7.5 liters, which is a shit ton. So let's see if this one's as hard to get off. Ah, okay. That wasn't bad. Whoa. So we're going to be replacing this, the MAN H929. It even says, look at that, MAN oil filter. You know, it's legit. Let me get this all cleaned up, and then I'll show you how to assemble that guy. All right, so first, after cleaning it out, put the O-ring in there. And then I couldn't figure out how to get this bolt out. There's a spring in the bottom of here that puts pressure on this O-ring, but I can't figure out how to get it out. Seems like it's permanently in there. But if you can get yours out, there's a washer you're supposed to replace right here. Oh well. But you can do your O-ring right there, and then you do one of these little washer duders right in top here, like that. And then just put in your oil filter. It's pretty easy to figure out which way is up. I want the handle goes towards the top. Snug that guy in there. Cool. Then reinstall. Oh, make sure to use a little bit of old oil and lubricate your rubber surfaces, just to ensure you get a good seal. Alright guys, so just a little recap what we're doing here. I'll get you guys in deep. So this injector needs rewired. You can see it was kind of finagled, and it also looks like it's been chewed up by rats. So I'll probably just be trying to uncrimp it and then use these butt connectors to install this new clip. Hey. So, I got a problem. I was testing the continuity on a couple of those injector wires to test, which one was ground and which one wasn't. And I discovered that all of the injector wires were showing ground, which is weird. So I did have the ECU, the electronic control unit, plugged in, and I thought that might be the issue. But I unplugged it and tested the pins for the connector, and I found the same thing. So I'll show you. This is the connector for the electronic control unit, and according to this here diagram, pins 3, 4, 5, and 6 are what actually control the injectors. Colors match also. Got the Rot, Grün, Weiße, Blau, whatever. But anyway, so I connected my first lead up there, hope you can see that, to ground. And then I just have my other one here. So I'll set this up so you can see it. Mine isn't fancy, it doesn't beep, but so put it on the pin. Here, like that. So I'll put it on the pin here. Angle you down a little bit. Put it on the pin, and you can see it's finding continuity for not the first two, but for the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Not for any of the others. Which, believe it or not, is good news. And it's good news because that means my ECU isn't shorted out, which I thought was the issue. It does mean that all the injectors are connected, which, according to this diagram, should not be the case at all. So somehow the signal wires are connected to ground, and I don't know why. So let's figure it out. Okay guys, so it's the next day, and I apologize for this video being all kind of bits and pieces. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know what I don't know what I bought, but I slept on it and did some work this morning, and I think I figured it out. So moving under here, remember how these were just brown? They're both brown, and I was like, I don't know which one those are, what specifically they go to. Same with these. So I took off the protective outer layer all the way through it, and look what happens. I cleaned it also with some dish soap and water, but look, there's colors. There's colors, which is awesome, because I know that, for instance, this cylinder, which I believe is number 4. Number 4 matches number 8, and these are both green. Now look, I found a green cable, but it didn't look green at the tip because it was all burnt. So we got green, yellow, white, and there should be a gray one in here too, which is freaking awesome. So I know which ones go where. Another thing I figured out last night was I went through and checked them all, and only half of the cylinders were short-circuited going to ground. And so I wrote them down on this little sticky note. So here's the front of the car, and then you have cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These two were good, did not short circuit. And then, that one wasn't, that one wasn't, that one wasn't, that one wasn't. So half of them were good. I pulled up the wiring diagram in the Haynes Manual, and I found that these two are connected, these two are connected, 3 and 6 are connected, and 2 and 7 are connected. And so the way this D-Jetronic works is it actually fires 2 injectors per pulse. So rather than just doing singular injection like most modern cars do, it does 2 injectors, 2 injectors, 2 injectors, 2 injectors, 2 injectors, 2 injectors, etc. It's not as efficient, but I suppose it's better than a carburetor. So that means that as I just said, the number 4 and number 8 cylinders are connected. They're one bank. So that's green, then there's yellow, white, and gray. So I know what colors go where. I just need to hook it up. So that didn't sound very good. It sounded like it was running on 2 cylinders, 3, not 8, for sure. So the fact that it starts great with starter fluid tells me that it's a fuel delivery issue, and I'm not sure if that's from the fuel lines. So maybe the filter's clogged, or the lines are clogged, or if the injectors themselves are kind of gummed up. So moving forward, I'm going to test that. I'm probably going to test the fuel supply line first, see what's coming out of that, if it's getting good pressure and the fuel's clean. And if that looks good, then I'm going to take the whole fuel rail and all the injectors off and see how they're spraying. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope this was exciting for you as well as for me. Thank you for your support. You guys are awesome. Have a good one.